ready to travel? We got all the travel buzz here on Smart People, Travel Wise with Alvin Adriano on PHLV Radio.
Well, hi there, and welcome to another episode of Smart People, Travel Wise. This podcast is dedicated to discover, learn, and uncover all different perspectives in the travel industry, but always to inspire and bring you much closer to some amazing destinations. As we get started, let me first introduce myself. My name is Alvin Adriano, and I'm your host on today's show. We have a great show for you today, and honestly, I'm very excited because, although I've traveled a lot, I haven't been to every place, and I'm really guilty because I really want a vacation right now. It's especially warm because here in DC, it's cold, which brings me to today's guest. She originally comes from the country up north, but is drawn to the warm weather and the hospitality in Vallarta. She migrated there for, I think, over 20 years ago. But we're going to get to learn more about some of the staples in the Puerto Vallarta all-inclusive markets, but yet not known to many people. But first, if you're watching this live, hashtag live. And if you're watching this on the replay, definitely hashtag replay. Also drop in the comments where you're watching from so we can recognize all of our viewers and listeners out there. And don't forget to catch our show every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific time or 3 p.m. East Coast time on PHLV Radio. It's also available on all platforms that you listen to. And you can even catch us on the PHLV Radio app, which is available on all iOS and Apple devices. Now, if you've been itching to travel, but looking for somewhere unique and different, then you're going to love today's show. The award-winning experiences at three incredible hotels, Marival Emotions, Marival District, and Marival Harmony, offer oversized suites, luxury residences, and villas for both couples and families. They have unbelievable world-class gourmet restaurants, and you can even interact with sea lions, sail away on a private pirate ship, or enjoy a beach world experience. And where are all my golfers at? Unlimited green fees will have you playing as much as you like. Plus, kids ages 3 and 12 stay for free in select rooms, of course. But it's all yours at the Marival Resorts, and we're going to get some news from our industry giant. So let me shed some light on today's guest. She forms part of the Marival Resorts family on site for 22 years in Riviera Nayarit, and she's the director of sales for the Marival Group. Barbero has been integral to the growth and development of Marival and has proven track record in turnaround service and business development, multi-skilled and proactive, with commitment to seeing all tasks from creation to completion. Her resume consists of tour operations, reservations, accounts payable, and destination management services, and she now is responsible for the growth of sales in the domestic and international markets, including the US and Canada. So please smash those heart buttons for the very lovely and gracious Bea Barbero. Hi, Bea.
Hi, thank you. That was, quite an introduction. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here today.
After 40 shows, you start getting used to doing these. So Bea, thank you for being here. I know I read a little bit about your resume, your bio, but for all the listeners out there, can you just do 30 seconds about what you do and how you fell into the all-inclusive market?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm originally from Canada, and I worked for a Canadian tour operator for about 9 years. And I had the opportunity to venture down south and become one of the destination representatives here in Vallarta. For a couple of years, I had an opportunity to travel to some amazing destinations, including Hawaii, Venezuela, Greece, and different destinations within Mexico. And something about Vallarta pulled me back here, and then I had the opportunity to join the Marival family. And I am one of those people that, I started with the Marival Resorts, and I grew within my position. I started as sales assistant. We added a convention center at one point, so I started taking on groups and conventions, the ice market, the wedding market, the world of e-commerce, of course, reservations. So I'm very involved in the operations. And then, of course, the growth of the resorts. We have 3 beautiful resorts here in Riviera Nayarit. So I'm now the corporate sales director for the 3 resorts, and challenging times and 3 resorts to fill rooms. So it's been a roller coaster ride the last couple of years, but enjoy every minute of it.
That's awesome. I mean, we talk with a lot of travel professionals, and it's true. I mean, once you're in this business, it's really, really hard to get out. You just get lured in with all of the great amenities and the people inside. And I'm pretty sure that warm weather played a really big part from moving from Canada down to Mexico, huh?
I would think so. Yes, definitely. As you can, well, I don't know if you can see, I've got my sleeveless top on here. I see you look a little warmer there. So yes, definitely. The weather was a key factor, but also the warm, friendly, just the surroundings. The people here are just so friendly, and that was certainly an attraction as well.
Yeah, I think everyone now is looking for places to go and destinations that they've never been to, and that's what was so intriguing, because Marival is not a household name yet. But you've been in the all-inclusive market for 35 years. How has your brand stayed under wraps or under key, and no one's known that you've been such a big industry giant there?
Well, that's a really great question, actually, because we're a family-owned business. Our owners are actually from Canada. They're from Montreal, Italian descent. So it's very much a family-run business, and we are in one destination. So we're not your huge corporate world where we have locations in different countries and different destinations. And I think we've kind of been sort of that hidden gem, and we're just starting to be discovered. And I think that's partly because we're doing new things, opening new properties, changing concepts of our all-inclusive, enhancing the program as far as attracting the US customer more and more so. So I think that has a little bit to do with it. But yeah, we've been around for 35 years. Myself, 22 years of those with Marival Resort. So I've kind of become part of the furniture.
Well, that just talks to your testament and your commitment into what you're selling out there. And I believe, you talked about family. It's still a family business, correct?
It is. It has, and the new generations have come into play. So it's been exciting to see some of the owner's family that I've known since they were children now part of the business, and I think that has made us such a successful company because it's a very open door policy and everyone gets involved. Sometimes maybe a little too involved, but it's been really exciting, and decisions can be made right on site, and it's just like, okay, let's put them into play. We had an advisory board in November that a lot of, leading travel advisors, some of them that were part of it, and their feedback was just so valuable. And our owner was actually, part of these meetings and really took their comments and feedback to heart, and we implemented those changes. They're done, so that just goes to show how committed we are to enhancing the product to attract, the business from not just the US, but from Canada and worldwide.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, during a crisis, innovation is what happens when change needs to be done. And I think all of us have realized that there's important aspects of travel, like visibility, awareness, sustainability, things that we don't really talk about, but we were forced to innovate, to recognize the new trends that are going on for the new modern travelers. I did want to mention that your properties are all in Riviera Nayarit, which is north of Puerto Vallarta. You have lots of marine life, countless land and water activities. How has this area been so popular during the pandemic, and how is it now that we're starting to see relaxation in a lot of the borders?
Well, during the pandemic, it was obviously very quiet down here. It was, I think like everywhere in the world, we were all affected, especially, of course, in the travel industry. Our hotels were closed for a period of 3 months. With that said, I mean, it didn't stop us from working. And I'm sure you can imagine that, different roles, and, whether it was rebookings, we had a lot of weddings on the books that had to be, rebooked or cancellations. And just the entire time we were closed, it was keeping up the resorts themselves, but more importantly was the human side of it, right? Because, we live in a country that doesn't have the government support as, for example, in the US. And I think it just brought us all closer together to make sure that we could keep everyone on, and those that we couldn't keep on, really help them out. It really made you think about what the priorities were in life on a personal level, what we could do without, because I think we all found that we could do it without a lot of things materialistic wise, and just keeping everyone together. And so when we reopened, I mean, there were so many protocols that were put into place. It was very challenging. And, this was something that never did we ever anticipate had to ever be done. So it was sort of relearning, how do we do this? And I think Mexico overall, they responded so well. All of the hotels here in the destination and other destinations really responded because we needed the business. We needed that clientele to come and see us because we depend on it. We live in a destination that depends 100% pretty much, if not, close to tourism.
Yeah.
We're in a destination, we're surrounded by the Sierra Mountains. We have a bay, which is the second largest bay in North America, the Bay of Banderas. So that in itself just entails a lot of activities. So it's not only about coming to a resort and staying within an all-inclusive, which is fabulous, but getting outside the doors of an all-inclusive is so important when you're visiting a destination to really get to know the culture, what the destination has to offer, where, in the winter months, like right now, we've got the humpback whales during the winter season. With the mountains, we have activities such as zip lining, which are just absolutely breathtaking. Like you are well over the canopies of the trees with ocean views. There's just a lot of activity that you can do, or you can obviously sit back and indulge in your all-inclusive, go to the spa, hit the beach. I mean, there's just a lot to do within the destination. And of course, great shopping. Puerto Vallarta, you mentioned it. We are only 15 minutes north from the airport with our two first properties. So you're still close enough to visit the town, which I think is still the most authentic Mexican destination, beach destination that you can visit.
That's awesome. And I think that's really important that during the pandemic, we were all looking for community, people to connect to. And people don't realize, when we talk about vacations, people don't think about the human aspect, the jobs that are affected, the families that have to come. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that the town really depends on tourism. And as a lot of the travel industry leaders came together, not as for competition, to really try to find ways to maintain or to survive this pandemic. And we saw a lot of new innovations, a lot of collaborations. And I think it was a beautiful thing that we saw. And I hope this continues, because that's what travel is to connect people. And being able to have this one unison purpose has made a big difference in our industry. And I hope it continues.
I do too.
Yeah. And it's so much too with the family orientation or the concept of your business, because I think that really brings in how connected all your company is to be able to take care of their employees, especially during this, because a lot of people were suffering. I did want to ask too, I mean, it's crazy to believe that Marival Emotions was the very first in Riviera Nayarit, right? And that was what...
I know that kind of dates us. I like to say I started when I was very young, maybe 12. Let's kind of add that in there. Yes. So if you recall, and you're pretty young too, so you might not remember this, but the very, very first all-inclusive in actually the entire country of Mexico was our property here in Nuevo Vallarta. It was under the same family-owned business, but it opened up as the Jack Tar Village. I don't know if this would even ring a bell for you, but back in the day, in the mid-'80s, the only, close to all-inclusive that existed were the Club Med resorts. But, you had the beads with the, for the drinks and things like that. So it was a bit of a different concept. Mm-hmm. So yes, it was the original Jack Tar. And so, for advisors or people that maybe traveled to this destination many years ago, the original part of the resort, which obviously has been renovated several times over with new buildings added and whatnot, really was the first all-inclusive, not just in the destination, but in Mexico overall. And then from there, it just grew, and, we became a household name here in the destination. We are very well known in the Canadian market. I mean, and that's maybe because the owners are Canadian, and we had a lot of top production, from the charters that would come over, in the winter and in the summer from the different Canadian cities. Yep. And back in the day, we had a lot of charters from the US that, that was traditional. That trend or that tendency has changed a lot for more scheduled air to offer clients that flexibility, not just to be tied into a nonstop. Yeah, that's great, but you're tied into maybe a 7-nighter, which was, generally what charters would do. So now you can really be flexible, and you can combine different resorts, which is great for us because we've got 3. So I think we have something to offer everyone's budget, everyone's taste, depending on what you're looking for. We have concepts that are family friendly. We have an adults only, which is something new for us. So something for everyone, I think.
That's awesome. You know, and I think that's really important market research and trying to figure out what are the new sentiments for travelers, what are the preferences that they're looking for, because it's all over the place now. These last 2 years has taught us something that health and sanitation should be priorities. And I don't even know what was travel before that. I don't know why we were worried about those type of things. But I love the fact that you guys are always innovating, always challenging the concept and trying to figure out what will be the next trend for your travelers to maintain your market share. And I think you guys recently just modified your Punta de Mita property to adults only.
We did actually on February 1st, so just a couple days ago, in fact. So what happened, of course, we had a new property that had a soft opening May 2019. So we were ready to go for the winter season. And well, of course, we all know what happened then. So it's been a learning curve with this property. It's set on one of the best beaches in the bay. It's called Desfiladeras Beach, and it's on a little cliff top. And of course, we have multi-bedrooms there because between the three resorts, multi-bedrooms are in fact more than half of our inventory. And of course, our family-friendly concept was the way we've gone, from day one. And we did have an adults-only section or a building at this property. But as things reopened and the travel has come back, what we found was that the tendency was more adult orientated. And the feedback that we received from this wonderful advisory board was change it up. And we thought, okay, let's do this. So by doing so, we are becoming the first adults only luxury, all-inclusive, fully adults only in Riviera Nayarit. So I think that's a great thing that we've done, and we're super excited. So we've just transitioned in the last couple of days. So new exciting things are coming from, just your activities program. Like it completely changes what you're doing throughout the day to attract more of the adults only concept, evening entertainment with live music, and just the ambience obviously changes 100%.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's amazing. I mean, people are so distracted, people's attention spans, and you constantly have to draw their eyes and bring them to them. And I love what you guys are doing, building visibility and awareness for your brand. You talk about recognizing the new trends, but now that you're making these shifts and you're getting more visible, what kind of experiences are travelers who've never heard of Marival? What would their experience be when they first enter your property? Or what can they expect?
I truly believe that when you visit any of our properties, the first thing that you are going to feel as a guest arriving at our resort is that you form part of a family right away. Within a few moments and, a couple hours that you've been on site, we have staff that have been here so long and they identify with you. We have a really high percentage of repeat clientele. And I think we've really created what we call the home feeling. So you're not just a room number. By the end of the day, maybe day one or something, everybody knows why you're here. Maybe you're celebrating an anniversary, or you're on your honeymoon, or a special milestone birthday, or just a family vacation. Whatever that reason is, we know where you're from, where are you visiting us from. A lot of our favorite travel advisors, they let us know who sent them down, and they really identify with our staff. And I think that has something to do with just the way it comes across. And I'm talking from a bellboy to a bartender to upper management to the waiters. They just feel so welcome. And I think that is what people are looking for, that connection, that human connection. And our resorts are size-wise, they're not super large resorts where you are able to, whether you're going through the lobby area, walking around, you interact with the same people day in and day out of your vacation, and you get to meet them and actually become friends with our staff. And I think that's what people are really looking for. Yeah. And I mean, that's one thing. And of course, you've got your all-inclusive concept. We are very, very well known for our food and beverage program at all three resorts. So you can certainly come away with just, if you're a foodie, for example, you can certainly try out a lot of really interesting concepts. And if you're not, hey, our upscale properties of Marival Armony and Marival Distinct have comfort foods as well. So if you want to get out of your comfort zone, you can do that and not feel restricted because, oh my goodness, you're going to arrive somewhere and you're not going to like anything. You can choose, right? And so you can indulge or your staples, and we have something for everyone. And now, we have a lot of clients that come in that have particular needs, whether they're dietary restrictions, gluten-free, vegan items, like we're always innovating to attract more business from a client that is very specific, I'm sure are aware of it, have very specific requirements, whether it's food, accommodations. We have multi-bedrooms across the the three resorts, So if you're traveling as a multi-generational family, and that's something that has come out of the pandemic, our Marival Distinct property, for example, was the #1 resort, and it's the highest price. That's the one that came back because we have these up to 4-bedroom residences. Families had not seen each other. Groups of friends had not seen each other, and they wanted to be together. They could even isolate and social distance within this one roof and have 4 bedrooms, retreat to their own privacy, but have an area where they could spend quality time together. So again, I just think it's what you're looking for. Gosh, I think most people that come to the Marival resorts come back again. And I think that speaks for itself.
Yeah, I would imagine. And just you mentioning it, all these, like the connection that people have on these trips are sometimes more important than the destination. We have something in our office that we say, automate the mundane, but humanize the exceptional. Human connections is so important. And sometimes that one person who makes your day, makes you smile, those relationships are the things that we travel for. No one goes on vacation to spend money. They go for an experience. Exactly. And if you can provide that experience, it makes so much more difference on everyone, because not only the person that travels, but the person who's there, meeting the traveler for the first time, because we all bring different things into our interaction. And I love the fact that you guys are highlighting that, because when people are we've been in this virtual world for like 2 years, and I can't imagine how difficult it will be for people to interact face to face, because they're just so used to screens. And I think that's really going to be a key thing for how destinations are welcoming travelers for the first time. Like people swipe left or something.
Exactly.
I don't know.
I think people are craving that human interaction with whoever, because, we're fortunate enough that we're in the travel industry that we get to see people, because, that's what we depend on here, especially here at the hotel. You're welcoming the guests that arrive, but, there's so many people in different industries that have been, at home, it's an at-home experience. They haven't seen their colleagues or coworkers or go to the office physically, and it's all been virtual. So gosh, I would be like stir crazy, and I would be like, I need a vacation and I want to talk to people. So I think the trend is going to be so different now with, once we're slowly coming out of this, and people will be just flocking to go on vacations and just do so much more than maybe what they did in the past, and value it so much more, because, it can be taken away from us so fast that I think we're going to appreciate and enjoy that moment even more.
And even the concept of having multiple rooms, a lot of all-inclusives don't have those options to bring big families. And now that people can work remote, I think everyone travels, works remote from anywhere in the world. People are taking longer vacations, they're taking more meaningful vacations. So being able to offer something like that, where you can bring the extended family, the main family, a lot of people all in one destination, is going to be very, very key for a lot of these travelers in the future. So, there's a lot of optimism going in the travel industry. We're hearing restrictions getting reduced, quarantines being reduced, testing protocols being reduced. What type of optimism are you guys hearing in Puerto Vallarta or in Marival about the future of 2022?
Well, one of the things that I think is important that we've done is, for the first, quite a long period of time when we reopened, the necessary, speaking of the United States, for example, we were including the antigen test for everyone that was traveling with us. And if for whatever reason you tested positive, we were actually including the stay. So what's happened now is, since basically the end of November, is that you still now have to pay for your antigen test. However, for a simple $10 extra, it gives you what we call the Marival Protection Plan. And if you do test positive, it guarantees that you can stay with us for up to 14 days on a complimentary basis. And I think that just right now gives people that confidence, because people, are worried about many things. I know there's concern about all of these flight changes and cancellations. And of course, that's, something to worry about when you're planning your vacation. But, and of course, when if you're in destination or wherever you are and you test positive and you can't go back home, people are worried. People have elderly parents, they have pets, they have maybe children that are being looked after by other family members. So they can't take that risk. They have jobs that maybe aren't home office, so they have to go back to them. So there's that risk as well. So we have at least tried to help or assist in one aspect of it, which is the cost, because it also is a huge worry if you come down here and you're on vacation and wow, all of a sudden you come back with a positive test, and what do? Fork out hundreds of dollars for an extended stay. So, I think that's something that we've worked on, and people really appreciate it and just feel so much more at ease prior to booking. And even when they get here, that they know they've got sort of like, they've got that insurance, I guess that's the word for it, that you're going to be taken care of. And, you've got your room service is included. I've had people say, hey, any chance you can set me up to actually get and be able to quarantine and do that on site. And you've got your room service for all your meals. You are quarantined to your specific room or residence or suite, depending what resort you are at. But I think that in itself is really an important thing moving forward. And moving forward, I think, and I don't know if you're seeing this, Alvin, but I think gone are the days, people are thinking that there's going to be all these deals and all this availability, but you know what? It's just the opposite. And, my personal friends and family, they all, they're from Canada and they're waiting for these last minute deals. I'm like, guys, people have not traveled, and everybody, the demand is going to be there. So, my advice right now is look, if you're planning on travel, whether it's, the remaining of this year or going into 2023, book now. Now is because you're going to be more limited with availability with airline seats and hotel accommodations, more so than waiting for that last minute deal. So that's just, a sort of little, free advice, I think, to send out there, but super important, like right now, sure, there's availability, but what's really important too, that you're seeing with flights is that if people don't book, they're going to cancel flights, right? So then again, it's harder to get to a destination, and then it's even going to get more expensive, like for certain places that you want to travel to around the world.
Yeah, I think a lot of the consumers don't realize that a lot of people are already traveling. A lot of people have become comfortable with traveling. They know the protocols. A lot of the hotels, properties have already innovated in so many different ways to prepare themselves, and it's a lot safer than it's ever been. I think, I have my things with airlines, but I mean, they're a lot safer. When they partnered with Lysol, I was like, wow, that's awesome. Everyone should partner with Lysol, like that's amazing. And I think now with all these new safety protocols and our attention to detail, especially when it comes to safety and hygiene, it is so much better now to travel. And that leads me into my next question. With all of these new preferences and things that travelers are worried about, what type of operations has Marival innovated to, and what do you see will remain after the pandemic? Is there anything that stemmed from this that you really do love?
On an operational basis, I think some of the protocols that have been implemented are here to stay, at least for, a period of time. And slowly but surely, up until I want to say 2.5 weeks ago, we still, with our restaurants that do offer buffet service, it was an assisted buffet. So we've already, gotten a little bit more lenient in that aspect where guests can now serve themselves, but you do have to wear a mask to serve yourself up, at any of the buffet stations, which I think, is people are, they're okay with it. I think we've all gotten used to a certain way of life, and, some of the protocols in place for cleaning of the rooms, I think it's here to stay, and, you speak about airlines. I'm kind of like hoping we don't have to wear masks forever on airlines, but, yeah. But, I think a lot of it has been positive. Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking how things have changed in overall, like, just the way we all interact with each other.
Like the digital check-ins now, being able to,
like there's just a lot of
it's crazy how technology has slowly inserted themselves, yes. And now it's like part of the industry, and and it's crazy how slow we've accepted it, but how fast we're adapting to it so quickly.
Yeah. And, one of the things you mentioned, right, is that, it's so ever changing, like we're so, I want to say blessed with Mexico with the restrictions or requirements, I guess, to enter the country. And, we've been more flexible. And I think that has helped Mexico overall as a destination. But I think what's most important, and I'm going to say kudos to you and all the travel advisors, because I don't even know how you guys keep it straight. It is absolutely 100%, especially in this day and age. I know we have this, technical world and this virtual world. Gosh, a travel advisor is probably your best bet and your best channel to go through, because they have been there for you, your team and so many of the advisors I know who have been there through all the cancellations, all the rebookings, all the staying on hold with the airlines and tour operators to make it happen for you. So if there's one thing that I feel has come out of this too, is that the traditional travel advisor is back. And I would definitely recommend that 100% to go that channel. So that's just a little, bravo to you. But yeah, definitely.
I think it's important. Yeah. We talk about connection and relationships, and those are the things that people don't realize. You can buy a trip, but when a travel advisor walks you through an experience, they walk you through the features, why this is for you. It makes a big difference. And what you were saying about how the family concept, understanding and listening, and then being able to provide changes that the travelers, I love that, because it's important. People don't realize your time is valuable. And no one wants you to have a bad vacation, but it's important it's just complicated now. So I'm so glad that we do have, I don't want to say we just found our value, but I think a lot of consumers now really appreciate the value we do bring.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. I also like to also ask, we've been in a pandemic. I know you've been traveling, I've been traveling, but, as the world reopens, where's the first place that you would want to go next?
Well, okay. My first place that I wanted to go to, and I did, was back to Canada, because the restrictions were pretty crazy for me to be able to go home and visit with my family. So that was me. I don't want to call it a bucket list, because it was just priority for me. I went through, 19 months without being able to see my family. So that was pretty rough. I was very happy that I was able to do that. But gosh, on my bucket list, Africa. I have been postponing a safari for the last few years, and it might not be till next year, but I'm definitely, that's big on my list. And but what I'm definitely going to do this summer is I'm going to Spain. I have my parents were originally from there, and I have still some family and friends there. So that's definitely, I haven't been able to go back since, it's been about 3 years now. So that's definitely on the list for this summer for sure. And, like you said, it's all about connection. It's reaching out, and you need that. I want to see my friends. I want to see family, and, FaceTime is just, you can only do so much. So it's time to do that for sure.
Awesome. Well, I hope so. I mean, I can't wait for everyone to start traveling and seeing the world and discovering what they've been inspired in seeing on their Instagram posts, or, wherever they consume their content. I have one more question before we head out, but anything in the pipeline? I know you have 3 properties, but in 2022, is there anything in the pipeline for Marival, or any new properties opening up? News you can share?
Well, I think right now has been our main announcements. The transition from Marival Harmony to the adults only, that's obviously something that's going to be, it's new and carrying on, the rest of this year. We've also enhanced, for example, our suites experience here at Marival Emotions, which is where I'm located right now. So we're really just focusing on that, attracting a clientele that will just have a more enhanced experience altogether. What's coming? Well, we are putting together what you'll actually find in your favorite tour operators systems once we put it together, but categories that are actually experiences. You hit it bang on earlier in our conversation about people looking for experiences. So now, for example, if you're looking for adventure, if you're looking for romance, if you're looking for spa, or even we even kind of come up with something which is sort of photo shoot related, where you can book a particular category and have these inclusions already forming part of it. So easy, like it's just done. And then you get here and you just have this wonderful experience over and above your just regular all-inclusive concept. So that's up and coming for the remainder of this year. We're going to start with Marival Harmony, but implement it in the 3 resorts as well. And I think, with the Marival Harmony, it's going to attract a different niche as far as weddings. It's a beautiful property, so more micro weddings, adult-orientated, a different market. And growth into another destination right now, I think that's going to take a little while. I think we need to kind of, get back on our feet after this couple years of, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely always plans to expand, even here right in the destination. So who knows? That'll keep you on your toes, right?
And that's the thing, I don't know. There's so much uncertainty what's going to happen in 2022, but I think all of us are so optimistic because any day in 2022 is a lot better than any day in 2021.
Absolutely. And in 2020, even more, like double that, right? So.
Yeah. So, but thank you so much, Bea, for coming on. I really appreciate for you spending a little bit of your time just introducing to Marival and just allowing us to learn more about your destination. It's one thing to be there and see, but being able to discover some places that I've never even been to Puerto Vallarta. I'm so excited to be able to come on there.
I know, and you're coming in September, right? So I'm very excited for you to see the destination. I think you'll have a different perspective. So that's amazing.
Awesome. And so, Bea, before you go, do you have any last minute tips or advice for the viewers and listeners out there?
Well, I mentioned it. Use a travel advisor. They'll be able to qualify what your needs are, work with you on your budget, and send you to what's going to work best for you. So that, I think, would be my number one tip. And and Marival Resorts, come and see us. See what we're all about. We would love to welcome you, and we have something for everyone. So, whatever is best for you. We've got the Marival Harmony, which is adults only. We have a family-friendly concept, which is more price-orientated at the Marival Emotions. And we have these wonderful oversized residences that start at 1,400 square feet and go up to 3,900 square feet for the largest unit. So there's something for everybody. So come down to the destination. We're a beautiful resort, or destination, I should say, Puerto Vallarta, Riviera Nayarit. You really just have, you're on the Pacific coast. You've got the best sunsets ever, and there's just something for everyone. So thank you so much for your time today as well.
Oh, thank you so much. The pictures look amazing. I can't wait to actually experience it and bring all of our clients and just have them have feel of Puerto Vallarta and especially the Marival experience. So thank you again, Bea.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh my goodness gracious. I love Marival, I love Mexico, and I love being able to talk to so many travel professionals about what has happened during the pandemic. It's amazing how these brands and companies have evolved, but you know what? I think we're all going to be in for a great experience because we all need a vacation right now. We all have precious time, and as the world reopens, there are so many people looking for places to relax, connect, or whatever reason. But as we all know, we have different considerations now that we think about purpose, about location, safety, and security. Now, all of their properties have family approach with rooms and spaces ideal for family living while still offering privacy. The different needs of space, privacy, and comfort that each group will require is the focal point of their designs. And I think now that sits on the top of most travelers' minds. Being able to bring Bea on the show and learn more about the Marival Resorts, it's very enlightening because there's just so many places to be discovered. I thought I knew a lot of them, but obviously I don't. So I'm so glad to be able to bring her and to introduce the Marival brand to all of you. So thank you again for all the viewers who are able to make or to spend a few minutes of your time to learn more about the travel industry. And if you're looking to travel and experience the world without managing your own vacation, you can always reach out to our award-winning agency, TravelWise International, by visiting www.itravelwise.com or calling us at 301-248-8898. So thank you to all our viewers and listeners who've been able to join us today. Please stay safe, and until next time, smart people travel wise.